Start. Die Rede ist von Michael Rasztovits.
Now this wasn't no ordinary dance.
Michael Rasztovits nimmt es auf mit der aktuellen Nummer 37. 28 Jahre ist der Alte und er hat in den letzten Monaten tolle Darts gespielt. Stand beispielsweise im Achtelfinale der Weltmeisterschaft, war einer der 9 Contender in der Premier League und auch bei den UK Open ging es in die Runde der letzten 16. Herzlich willkommen hier in München, Hollywood, Chris Dobey!
Wins so far for Nathan Derry, Stephen Bunting and the Polish Eagle Krzysztof Ratajski. 5 more games to come for you to complete the first round of the German Darts Grand Prix in front of a pretty lively crowd here at the Zenith Kulturhalle in Munich. We are going to see the Austrian #1 this weekend. That's Mensur Suljovic, but Michael Rasztovits is a man who's had success on the Challenge Tour already this year. And he is a qualifier for this, coming through the newly created European qualifier. Later tonight, final game of the night, we get to see the Spanish #1 Cristo Reyes, or Cristo A, as I like to know him as. This is Cristo B. He take on Rasto for a spot in round 2 with the world #2, Rob Cross, #5 seed here this weekend. A man sat second in the Premier League, was first until Thursday. He's awaiting the winner of this one. Chris Dobey is going to be the heavy favourite in this one, but do not discount Michael Rasztovits. He can be dangerous, can't he, Paul Nicholson?
Oh, yeah. And it must be new shirt season, is it? New clobber for Chris Dobey. New flights as well.
Yeah, he's, I quite like the new Chris Dobey outfit.
First leg is Chris to throw first. Game on.
I've got a theory about the grey in the new shirt. Very similar to a grey that was in a very famous Newcastle away kit back in the late 80s.
91.
I think he's a fan of that shirt. I'm sure he's got it. He likes his old football shirts. He's a bit like Mark Webster in that respect, because Webb collects all Man U shirts.
Well, he's actually bought himself a new football shirt today, Chris Dobey. Went off into Munich with his girlfriend, got himself a Bayern Munich top. He was tempted to go and watch the football this afternoon, but I think his other half kind of said that that would not be on the agenda today.
Well, he has got his game to play.
I mean, there is that too.
59.
But he has been playing some really good stuff, Chris Dobey. This year, I've been hugely impressed with how he's played.
17.
And yet, he's had a semi-final. And he's qualified for a lot of these. You'll be seeing a lot of him on the European Tour, but keeps it in the last 16,
45.
not going any further other than that one run to the semi-finals in the second weekend of Pro Tour rank.
Yeah, he's almost tailed off floor-wise since that semi-final, hasn't he?
A little bit. I mean, he's still going there and picking up money. He's making second round, third round, last 16s, but he's not having those deep runs where you think, oh, this might be the day he goes on and gets his first title, because he has made 3 Pro Tour finals in the past. He's just not been able to get over the line as yet. But
being in the next 4 weeks of European tours is massive for his season. It gives him 4 cracks at the whip to really go out there and do something special. You'd much rather be in them than out them. And he's going to be here. He's going to be going to Graz. He's going to be going to Saarbrücken, and he will be going to Sindelfingen in this 4-weekend blitz of amazing events that we've got. And it's tops for Dobey for the first leg.
20.
Well, 3 misses. Rasztovits could go ball. He could look at treble 17. Or he could hit skinny 16, which doesn't help much.
It's not a bad miss.
You don't often see this taken out in 2 darts, though, do you? 25 and bull.
Who's bound to hit the bull?
Yeah.
As soon as I hit that, I said that. Who's bound to hit the bullseye?
And then he's hurriedly thrown the last dart and missed the 9, so it's not helped him at all.
Double 5, and those misses could be costly.
No score. I'll give you 13.
Single 5 for double 4 then, or that for double 6. Very good indeed.
Michael Rasztovits.
Got away with that one.
It's Michael to throw first. Game on.
Certainly did, and it's a breaker throw as well. Now, the important thing about this next month, it is massive for a number of reasons. Obviously, 4 big tournaments in their own right, these European Tour events.
100
As Rasto puts in his first maximum. But Chris Dobey in particular will see these as opportunities to earn some ranking money and get into
59.
the world match play. A place where he is perennially in the hunt for a spot and every single time just misses out. And results of late have put him
96.
once again just on the outside looking in. But the fact that he's qualified for all of these means he's guaranteed some money and potential. One big run over the next month could be the difference. Could get him to the Winter Gardens for the first time. Josh Payne doing some bit of fan networking.
It's always easier to do that when you've won.
30.
Did that this afternoon, and he played very decent. And Chris Dobey he's the bubble boy, isn't he? He lives in the bubble,
36.
and this is probably his best opportunity of getting to the world match play for me. Just the position he's in, he's ready to strike.
Well, it's in his hands. He knows if he goes and does something big over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and we've got a couple of midweek pro tours, but not much. So there'll be plenty of people sat at home with no opportunity to earn money on these weekends when Dobey is here. So it is a big opportunity, and he can't afford to let them pass him by.
Double top for Rasztovits for a 2-0 lead.
Yeah,
How good is that?
Michael Rasztovits. The leg is Chris to throw first. Game on.
Well, undoubtedly, the strong player in the opening stages here, Michael Rasztovits.
93.
But it should be said that Chris Dobey is in the top 16 on the averages list so far this year in the Players' Championship Series. Admittedly, his average is fully 20 points higher in that series of events than it currently is here. This is not a standard Chris Dobey performance, but it is early days.
94.
Now, Chris is the kind of player that doesn't like to change much equipment-wise. I'm talking about anything, really. It was a big jump for him to use his signature darts from the ones he'd used for years. That was last year. Comfortable with them now. He's gone to a different them in a different flight now. They will probably be the same size, the same thickness on the flight, but the look of them in the board, it's a big thing for Chris. He's had the same look of stem, look of flight for years.
100.
This will be a massive change for him, and it's something he's going to have to get used to. I'll give you the example of Steve Beaton.
137.
He's always used white flights. From what I can recall, I've never seen him use anything but a flight, because some people like to see, they like to gauge and use them as targets.
Double 16, usually pretty reliable here.
Game shot
There we
third
go, it's a bit
leg,
more
Chris
like it
Dobey.
from Chris Dobey, a 14
Leg is Michael to
darter.
throw first. Game
Gets
on.
himself on the board and he's in the game, and he'll be feeling a lot happier about things. First time these two have met, actually. Rasto has been around for a while, but a lot of they've been plying away on the
97.
Challenge Tour, occasionally turning up on these Euro Tour events, but he's not the tour card as yet. He'll be looking to earn one through the Challenge Tour
60.
system.
He had a very good performance last night against Hannes Nia, who was a very tricky opponent. He averaged 94 in that game in a 6-3 win. And he won 4 games to get to this point. Chris only won 2. Are you a fan of the
60.
collar on Chris' shirt? And I've noticed that a lot of players are going towards that kind of collar now.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was an argument. I'm sure, because you have to have a collar, don't you? That's one of the rules.
42.
Now, that's basically the old grandad collar, isn't it? But
Very fashionable right now.
well, I mean, yeah. Look, I'll defer to your superior knowledge of that, man, but
60.
it's different. I quite like it.
The first person I saw to wear a collar like that in the darts stage was Alan Warren a little.
Did he
back
really?
Back of his career, he had a black shirt that was very similar to that. He looked very, very snazzy. He must be making a comeback, those types of shirts, but yes, they do have to collar. I don't really understand that rule because Tiger Woods won Masters last week at one of the most traditional courses in the world without a collar.
46.
If it looks good, just let them wear it.
Oh, okay. You went stamp your cane on the floor going, expel him. Make him a collar.
78.
It's no rule, isn't it? You've got to wear a collar on a golf course most of the time. Rules are changing, times are changing, and Michael Rasztovits is 3-1 up.
Chris to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, looking pretty solid. Rasto.
Needs more of this.
140.
I always find it perplexing as well that very well-known dart players, Chris Dobey's one of those, he's very well-known. I'm not sure why he needs to have his name on the bottom right-hand side of the shirt.
Well, look, Chris Dobey is one of it. If you're looking to flog them, you know, but go and wear your dart shirt and somebody, you know, if you're, I don't know, you look like me, you wear your dart shirt, they go, what's that? It's a dart shirt, a famous player.
There's only one Hollywood. Everybody knows who Hollywood is.
Well, okay. Yeah, fair point. I've seen Michael Rasztovits make the final day of a European tour before. It was back end of last year. Beat Dave Pallett, followed it up with a win over Simon Whitlock, and then he was only beaten by Rob Cross. And it would be Rob Cross he faces in the next round if he can get through this. And Dobey, he's done this a few times and not produced the 180.
140.
Again, but
He's tightening up though, isn't he? Starting to find more 60s, putting more pressure on Rasztovits. And it's now, can Rasztovits live with the scoring of Dobey, which can be at times very, very good. Bullseye. Well, you can see shaking the head of Chris what he thought of that one.
Well, that would have been brutal had it gone. But Dobey, I'm pretty sure he's just going to go one for double 16. It is the double that he managed to pin in that third leg.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice.
Two leg is Michael to throw first. Game on.
Chris was, of course, involved in that titanic game with Gary Anderson at the Worlds, where most people didn't have a larynx at the end of it. It was that good. If you haven't watched that game, find a way to watch it, because you won't regret it.
94.
Yeah, Gary Anderson involved in some real thrillers at the World Championship. His game with Jermaine Watermina nearly saw him go out in the last set decider. Chris Dobey nearly put him out in the last set decider. It was only a rampant Michael Van Gerwen that stopped him in the end. Admittedly,
93.
stopped him very well.
Well, Rasztovits is looking to Dobey, and he's had a very good response in this leg,
137.
leaving 84 after 9 on his throw. That's very hard to beat. And Chris can't leave a finish.
140. Michael Uruguay 84.
11 dollar coming in.
Anyway, he's not going to bust it from there.
Yeah,
He's just going to smash it straight into the middle of a double six. It's a 12 dart leg from Rasztovits, and if he throws like that on his own throw, Chris Dobey is not going to win this game. I've commentated on Dobey hitting a 9 dart, hitting a deciding leg on the tour earlier this year against Dave Prince, another player from the Northeast. But he's going to have to produce a 9 darter to win this game and break the Rasztovits throw if Rasto keeps throwing like that on his own throw.
Well, Chris hasn't played poorly. I just think this is more about how Rasztovits is up his level. I had Dobey as a big favourite for this, but Rasztovits has really upped his ante, and his doubling there, as you can see, that's world class.
Yeah. Admittedly, that does matter when he's messed up, say, in the first leg when he had a 91 that he completely made a hash of. But in general, if he gets a dart at the outer ring, it's going.
He looks about as comfortable as I've seen him on stage as well.
Really, really does.
Actually not that far from home for him, Munich. This is southern Germany. About 4.5 hours from Vienna.
161.
Well, he tried to use the bullseye to leave him a 2-darter. It's not quite worked out, but he is going to come back and have a look at the 103. And if he does get 1 dart at the double, that might be all he needs.
Very well said, Dan. And he is going to get a shot at a double. You go 10 or a 6 here, just if you're feeling a bit edgy.
He's nearly gone for 16 there, I think. And he's just checked the score, and he was right to.
63.
But he did need more than 1 dart double in the end.
I think that tops was a bit more hopeful than positive. Double 10s there, and he stays in touch. Just clicking at the heels of Rasztovits, and he forces him to have a very good leg on throw again. And Rasztovits throws quite a short barrel dart and a long stem, big flight. It's a very light setup, but the dart itself it's very old school Mervyn King-like.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of the old Dennis Priestley dart. It's got a little sort of bulbous bit at the front. It's only a small little thing.
It's almost like a mini version of a Scott Waite's dart.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that. You compare that to Dobey. I mean, Dobey's is a very standard straight barrel thing, with ring grips down it, but it's quite a long dart. I don't think it's as you'll see Jamie Hughes playing tonight. He's got an absolute spear of a dart, enormous long thing. Cannot wait for that game between Hughes and Glenn Durran.
Yeah, that's going to be very good indeed. They've had some battles in the BDO. Well, it's time to turn the tables and see what it's like when they battle in the PDC. It's been the headline on the sheet for the past 24 hours, and we can't wait for it. But right now, Rasztovits is still in control, especially after that beautiful switching to the 18s. That was some very intelligent stuff from Rasztovits.
There's just not enough coming from Chris Dobey in this game to really unsettle Rasztovits. He can go down to the 16s here, and he can leave himself 3 darts at a double, and the way that he's been finishing, that's going to be enough.
Well, the way he's been pinging those doubles, he just can't fathom a way that Chris is coming back to the ball. In this leg anyway.
Absolutely no bother whatsoever. We've already seen one upset tonight with Nathan Derry not just beating Steve Beaton, but absolutely taking him apart with some of the most devastating scoring we've seen in a short format game. But here, Michael Rasztovits' finishing has been almost flawless, and it's just too much for Chris Dobey at the minute. It still is only 1 break of throw.
If my memory serves me right, you mentioned the Dave Prix game earlier in the season. Wasn't he 5-3 down? And then he went pop, and then...
Yeah, I think he might have gone something like 11-13-9 in terms of the last 3 legs. And he might have to do something similar here against Rasztovits. A second maximum of the match. Both of them have come from the Austrian.
60.
Got to stay on the 20s when you're on 230 if you don't get a shot on the first 2. He knew he had to stay there, but Rasztovits has just been too good at this point, and that is a massive dart. Forces Dobey to take this big fish out.
And he's not looked likely to fire in 2 trebles and a bullseye.
100. 100.
1 treble. Oh, treble 19 will have to be. A let-off for Dobey, but his highest checkout in this match is 52. He's going to have to beat that right now, or he runs the risk of going out in round 1.
13s, 1 single 20, for a preferred double 16. Hasn't come to his aid this time, and he's horrified by that dart. And Rasztovits himself should get 1 dart for the match.
This is a massive month for Chris Dobey in his hopes to qualify for the World Match Play for the first time in his career. But it has not started well this series of European tours. Dobey, one of the top performers on the tour this year, is knocked out in round one and pretty comprehensively beaten by the Austrian Michael Rasztovits. A 6-3 win and 75% on doubles. If you get yourself opportunities and you take them with that frequency, Michael Rasztovits could cause some problems for the world number 2, Rob Cross. He goes up against him once again, as he did at the European Tour event at the back end of last year, looking for a bit of revenge. Coming up, it's another host nation qualifier. Dragutin Horvat hoping to succeed where his countrymen have failed, as the German goes up against the Belgian number 1, the Hurricane, Kim Huybrechts.
Ich finde, das sind Partien, die hast du vor einem Jahr noch nicht so gespielt. Geht es dir genauso oder habe ich einen falschen Eindruck?
Na, ich muss sagen, seit ich die Challenge Tour gewonnen habe, habe ich mehr Selbstvertrauen.
Lass mal ganz kurz den Chris Dobey noch einen Applaus abholen. Den wollen wir hier gebührend verabschieden. Also sagst Challenge Tour 2018 war das, ja?
Ja, habe ich auf alle Fälle mehr Selbstvertrauen und mein Spiel ist besser geworden. Und ich fühle mich gut auf der Bühne. Und München, ich habe schon gesagt, voriges Jahr München war super. Und ausverkauft am Freitag, also am Samstag, ist Weltklasse.
München ist super. Rob Cross ist morgen dran. Der hat heute eine Tracht gekriegt. Der ist sehr gefährlich. Der ist ohnehin gerade in einer sehr, sehr guten Form. Ne?
Ja, ich habe in Hildesheim gegen ihn gespielt, habe 6-4 verloren und ja, vielleicht kann ich wieder eine Revanche und ein besseres Spiel machen.
Wir sehen uns morgen, Michael. Danke dir. Michael Rasztovits. Er will morgen die Revanche mit Rob Cross. Und damit haben wir jetzt